Hello guys, what's going on? In today's video we're looking at the games of 2015. I hope all of you had a great holiday and you all had a great New Year's Eve celebration and all the good stuff. So since that is done, we can now look forward and we can look at the games that will come out in 2015. Now, we don't have a full release schedule for the next year. Obviously, a lot of games are just kind of to be released around 2015. Developers don't want to nail themselves down, but up until June, there are actually quite a few games that have already a release date and that will come out in the first month of 2015. So let's go through those and let's have a look. So all the games that I'm mentioning in this video are basically like UK release dates. I don't know if the games in the US come out a bit earlier or a bit later, probably earlier in any case, but let's start with January. In January, we have the very long, by me at least, anticipated Grand Theft Auto 5 PC. Finally a PC version. Hopefully it will be moddable. We can do whatever we want with this game, and hopefully this will really spark as much internet content and YouTube content as the previous games did. You know, that just made the game sustainable and made it really like live for months and months and months. And still today you see a lot of people playing like GTA 4 and things like this. So GTA 5 PC coming hopefully in January if there are no further delays. Also in January, Dying Light. Xbox One, PlayStation 4 and PC. The guys who made Dead Island go into the next round with this game. It seems a bit more ambitious. It seems like a better looking version of Dead Island, but with kind of parkour elements. You can jump around and there are bigger crowds of zombies and you have to run through them, and at night the whole city turns completely crazy. You basically have no chance just by shooting around. You then have to run. Sounds quite exciting, but I've looked at like some gameplay which recently has came out, like on a few YouTube channels. People got early access to the game. And it really looks exactly like Dead Island, like just in terms of the gameplay. Obviously, visually it's better, but... And to be honest, I've just finished Dead Island Riptide, and I'm not entirely sure if I'm ready for a new Dead Island game just yet. So probably I'll wait a bit. But however, I thought Dead Island was an absolutely great game, especially the original game. I know opinions kind of differ there. A lot of people think it was complete shit, but I really enjoyed it. Actually, I finished it twice. So Dying Light coming to Xbox One, PlayStation 4 and PC is definitely a title I look forward to, but it's not something that I'm like desperately awaiting or something. Jumping into February, obviously there are more titles in January, but I just picked the ones that I thought are most exciting to me, I guess. February, Evolve, Xbox One, PlayStation 4 and PC. I made a video about this. I'll put the link down in the description. You see everything about Evolve in that video. I've played the early access or the beta they had. It's good fun. It's not a bad game. It really has a fresh gameplay concept, just like 4 hunters hunting one monster, and the monster's controlled by a player as well. So it has a nice co-op element. It seems quite tactical. However, it didn't blow me away as I was hoping it would. You know, if you looked at the reviews and all the awards that this game received at various game shows, not entirely sure if it lives up to that. But I might be wrong. They just added another set of monsters and another set of players, I think, characters you can play in the game. So hopefully that will add enough depth to it to make it really interesting. The beta was fun, but it wasn't, it wasn't like, for instance, Titanfall, I think, kind of reinvented how we play first-person shooters in many ways. I don't think Evolve goes that far. I personally had fun with it, but I don't think it will reinvent anything, really. It will just be a great, really solid co-op shooter by the guys who made Left 4 Dead. Also in February, The Order 1886. Now, a lot of people are waiting for this. This is a PS4 exclusive title. There's not too much known about the game. A few people played it, I think, at Tokyo Game Show, and they said it's actually quite good. I have to admit, I didn't read too much about it since I'm not a PS4 player, but the trailers I've seen looked really cool. But to be very honest, I haven't seen any extensive gameplay. So if you want to know more about that title, then please Google it and find your own sources. I don't want to talk too much about it, but I think this is the first exclusive PS4 title in 2015. Jumping right into March, Battlefield Hardline will come out. Very similar to what you see here in the background, a little bit of Payday 2, the heist gameplay. Main difference between the Heist and Battlefield Hardline is that in Hardline also the cops are controlled by other players, so it is more tactical. You have an open world, it runs on the Battlefield 4 engine, so it looks much prettier. People played it and the reviews were not exactly great, to be honest. People were a little bit disappointed because it just didn't really do anything new. I think that was kind of the tone that I heard from many people. There was nothing fresh in the game. It's just this open world and it got a bit messy at times. And I have to say, when I saw the gameplay trailer at this year's E3, or last year's E3, 2014, it looked a bit dull. I didn't really want to play it. I don't know. It just felt... But that's also because I'm not really a big Battlefield fan. I don't enjoy these games so much. I feel the controls are a bit wonky and my machine is not really powerful enough to run it. So I'm not really looking forward to this. But I think if you're a hardcore Battlefield player and that's like your first-person shooter of choice, then probably Battlefield Hardline will give you a lot of new food to play with in 2015. A lot of people said it reminds them a lot of just a big DLC for Battlefield 4, and looking at the trailers, that kind of confirms how it looked to me. It very much looked like not a new game, it looked like a big DLC for Battlefield 4. But who knows, March 2015, we will know more. Also in March, Bloodborne will come out, another PS4 exclusive by From Software. These are the Japanese guys who made Dark Souls and Demon Souls, massively successful games, famous for their very hard gameplay, like unforgiving gameplay. Smallest mistake will lead to death, you lose everything. Kind of a roguelike hack and slay game if you want. Well, not really roguelike, but it has these kind of ideas woven into it. So looking at the trailers and the gameplay for Bloodborne that has been shown like at the Tokyo Game Show, for instance, it looks very much like the next iteration of the Dark Souls concept. People who played it said it's not as hard, it's a little bit more forgiving. It will have a co-op mod, which is great, so you can finally play together, and it just looks much better. So they really stepped it up a notch on the graphic side of things. As I mentioned before, this is another PS4 exclusive game, so that is the second already kind of big PS4 exclusive in 2015. Looks very much like owning a PS4 will pay off next year. This year, why do I keep saying next year? It's this year. April. Not much happening in April. Mortal Kombat X coming out, Mortal Kombat 10, I think. Is X is 10, right? Yeah, so Mortal Kombat coming out. I'm not too excited about that. I don't know. If you are, great. Leave me a comment in the comment section below what's new in this game, because I literally have absolutely no idea. May. Big month, May. The Witcher 3 is coming out on Xbox One, PlayStation 4 and PC. Originally, Witcher should have come early this year. I think January or February was the original release date. However, they pushed it back to May, and I'm happy with that. If that improves the game and makes it less buggy. We all know how many games have been released kind of in a half unfinished state recently. So take your time and make sure the game is good, because I think a lot of people are looking forward to Witcher 3. This will be probably the big RPG game of the year. I think a lot of people really want to play it, and I'm one of them. I made a series about Witcher 2, so if you're not familiar with the Witcher series, I'll put the links down in the description as well for my Witcher 2 videos. It's just a little bit of a let's play. You can see how the game worked and how you could play through the different levels, and I show a bit dungeon gameplay and just a bit above earth gameplay and stuff. June, another big month. Batman Arkham Knight coming out on Xbox One, PlayStation 4 and PC. Now, I really look forward to this. I've been a big fan of the Batman Arkham series, and the new game just looks great. I just hope that it doesn't fall victim to the phenomenon that also destroyed Assassin's Creed Unity, where the developers want to step it up a notch and they want to put the game, the Arkham series in this case, to the next level, and they get a bit over ambitious and make sure that everything looks great, but then the mechanics and the actual gameplay is only halfway there, and it's very glitchy and broken. So I hope that will not be the case. Besides that, what I've seen in the trailers, it looks absolutely amazing. It looks like the next logical step for the Arkham series. So absolutely great game. I really look forward to this, and I'm really curious what besides the Batmobile they're gonna put into it that's actually new. And that's kind of where the list of factual release dates ends. We only have these dates up until June, but there are many more games that will come out in 2015. There's Star Wars Battlefront, which will come out on Xbox One, PlayStation 4. I'm not sure about a PC release. I still have hopes. But again, it's based on the Battlefield engine, so I'm not the biggest fan of this engine. So I really love the Star Wars universe, and I think it's probably going to be an amazing shooter. I'm not sure I'm going to be too keen on that. Rise of the Tomb Raider will come out Xbox One, PlayStation 4, possibly PC. It is funny because originally it was announced as an Xbox One exclusive, but apparently the meaning of the word exclusive has changed nowadays because it's not exclusive. I think it comes out like Call of Duty time exclusive 3 weeks earlier or a month earlier on Xbox One or something like that. But I mean, that is not exclusive. That is just some time exclusivity. I think the game itself is going to be great. I really enjoyed the previous Tomb Raider game. It was much better than I expected it to be, and it was really a good example of how you can push an existing franchise to the next level. If we remember the previous Tomb Raider games, they kind of got a bit boring, and it felt that the Tomb Raider brand is kind of falling asleep, if that makes sense. Like, nobody was really keen on it anymore, but then they brought out Tomb Raider, and it was much more like Uncharted, and it had much better graphics, and it had much more of an adventure feel to it, and that really revived the brand, and now people are extremely keen to get their hands on the new Tomb Raider. Also, story-wise, I'm quite keen to see what they're going to do with it, because obviously the first game was all about Lara being thrown into this unforgiving environment, and then she had to survive and had to kill and do all the things that she never did in her life before. So now the Rise of the Tomb Raider is probably very much how this Lara Croft that we've seen in the end of the last Tomb Raider rises to be the actual Tomb Raider that we know from the old games, which is very much like a stone cold, very cool treasure hunter woman who just can't be stopped by anything. So I'm quite curious how they're going to tie that together and bring that to life. So looking forward to this, hoping it comes to PC, even that has not been announced yet. Halo 5 Guardians coming out on Xbox One, and that's the first big Xbox One exclusive title. Maybe I'm forgetting something. If I'm forgetting titles here that are really important to you, then leave them in the comment section below. One game that I really look forward to is Rainbow Six Siege. We've seen the trailer at this year's E3. It very much is also inspired by the Payday concept, the game that you see in the background here. But compared to Hardline, where many people felt it doesn't do much new things, Rainbow Six Siege gives you a fully destructible environment. At least that's what the trailer promised. So you can come up with a strategic way to enter the space. They showed this demo, and if you haven't seen it, I recommend watching it, where a bunch of players take over a house and they come up with a strategy to breach through the ceiling and through the roof. So they land on the roof and then attach explosives and then blow those up, and they fall in the middle of the living room. They could have also sawn their way with the saw into the basement, and it seems to have a quite diverse set of options how you accomplish your mission, which I really like. It makes it kind of unpredictable, and looking at the trailer, it really looked like a fresh take on this whole criminals versus police co-op thing. Anyway, something like Payday the Heist. Look at the trailer and look at the gameplay demo. It will kind of give you a bit of an insight what this game is all about. Tom Clancy's The Division will come out, looking absolutely great. I don't think there's much that we need to say about that game. It's coming out on Xbox One, PlayStation 4 and the PC. Looks absolutely fantastic. Can't wait to play this game. Uncharted 4 coming out, A Thief's End, another PlayStation 4 exclusive. So as I said before, the PlayStation 4 really gets a lot of lovely titles next year. Seems really like Sony is stepping up the game, and they want to make sure that their fan base do get a solid chunk of exclusive titles. Scalebound coming out also next year, another Xbox One exclusive game. It's by Platinum Games. It's kind of an action game. We've seen a trailer, a lot of dragons in there, and the guy slaying dragons and giant monsters. It looks very, very Japanese to me, just in the way the mechanics work. We don't know much about it, but I think it's going to be some kind of hack and slay game. Remains to be seen. Not overly excited about this, but the developers have said that they want to create something completely new with Scalebound in terms of the gameplay. So I'm quite curious what they're actually going to come up with in the end. We're going to see Assassin's Creed Victory this year, a new iteration of Assassin's Creed. We're going to see a new Call of Duty, which has not been announced yet, but it's, I think, 99% certain that we're going to see that in November. So guys, this is my list. These are the games that I'm really looking forward in 2015, some more than others. Leave me a comment underneath. I really would love to know what your most anticipated games are. As you might have seen, I'm doing quite a few live streams recently. I used to stream on Twitch, but now I discovered that I can do the same thing on YouTube, and it actually saves the clips on my timeline. So that is quite cool. I will keep doing that, but don't think that live streams will replace all the normal videos that I'm doing like this one. I will keep doing those, but every now and then I'll just jump into a live stream and save those in my timeline. Anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope there were a few things in there that you didn't know yet. Please leave me a like if you enjoyed it. Subscribe to my channel if you have not yet done that. Besides that, I wish all of you a very successful year 2015 and a lot of great games to play. So thanks, guys, for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Stay safe. Bye.